One of the many amazing things about video games is they manage to give you a sense of escapism. Whether it be slaying dragons, landing spaceships, fighting through hell, defusing bombs, being hunted by animatronics, if there's an idea in the world you want to explore, you can always ensure that someone has created a game in which you can delve past reality to experience what you never could in real life. Because that's part of the magic in games. As a distinctly interactive media that can make anything possible, giving you an experience beyond that of movies, TV, or radio ever could. But yet, one of the most widespread and popular genres isn't one that lessens reality, but rather cites reality as the starting point of its genre. And it's always been an interactive medium, with puzzle games being some of the most played, most successful, and yet so vaguely standardized, lacking that amazing sense of escapism and reality-breaking immersion. And when we talk about the greats, from Counter-Strike to Grand Theft Auto to Super Mario to Minecraft, why haven't games in the puzzle genre come up? After all, Tetris is the third best-selling game of all time, only being passed in the last 5 years. So why aren't games like Minesweeper, Mahjong, Puyo Puyo, and even Tetris in these conversations? What would it take to get on that list? And what would it look like if they made a puzzle game that is distinctly a video game? I'm Sin, and this is a Divergent perspective. Like most genres, seemingly, Valve find themselves defining and setting the standard for the medium of what a puzzle game definitively is. After the success of Counter-Strike and Half-Life, Valve looked to release a slew of new games, and give us one of the most important releases in all of gaming, in the Orange Box. Releasing Team Fortress 2, Half-Life 2's second episode, and a new unheard of franchise, Portal. With every game Valve would touch in their lifespan being some degree of an FPS. And while TF2 defined class shooters and Half-Life helped define linear storytelling, even after Left 4 Dead was specifically a zombie horde shooter. So Portal stands out as the sore thumb in the family photo of Valve's many releases. And that distinct feeling has some merit to it. Because this idea didn't originate in the offices of Valve, or sprouting from the mouth of our dearly beloved Gaben. But Valve found this team in a college fair, showing off their game, Narbacular Drop. Liking the developers and the project they've made, Valve decided to offer them jobs to further work on this project at Valve. And thus, Portal was born. It's a Cinderella story that every game dev dreams of, and explains why it doesn't feel like it came from those same minds behind Half-Life or Team Fortress. Because it didn't. Portal is a rather simple concept of a game, but it's also somehow insanely complex. Because it's exactly as it seems at its surface level. It's a game where you have to escape each room, and you use a series of portals to do so, bending space and time and breaking relativity to your own merit, just to solve a simple puzzle. Sounds simple enough, no? The answer to every puzzle is portals. You already have the solution. The question really is how? Then it becomes when? Then it becomes why? The game evolves from a simple room-to-room puzzle solver to a chaotic unraveling plot as you fight to survive, serving up one of the most iconic counterparts and thus villains in gaming history. It's a short experience, but it defines what it takes to be an amazing puzzle game. Not only a unique solution to the problems you encounter, but a simple yet memorable plot to drive the protagonist, bringing a sense of threat that Tetris could never. This is further established in layers of fear, using simple puzzles in the bending corridors in the mind of a mad artist, with each puzzle both furthering your progression but also help paint a picture of his trauma and terrible acts, using puzzles in a context of horror, being used to abstractly paint a picture of his memory, and not simply showing you the discomforting acts, but telling you and allowing your mind to imagine the horrors between the brushstrokes, putting you in harmony with the protagonist and his lack thereof, all to chase the masterpiece of a painting. Between that and some jump scares, it gives you a rather unique identity both in a puzzle game and a horror game, but not living up to its inspiration, PT, in acts of horror, or surpassing that of Portal in its intricacy, but its mind-bending shifts of scenery, changing of environments, and the continuation of using puzzles as a way to further a plot would be clearly present in Superliminal. Superliminal takes an approach somewhere between the two former, with room-to-room puzzles like that of Portal in the beginning, and unraveling of the mind towards the end like Layers of Fear, with the gameplay being a use of optical illusions and forced perspective to solve puzzles, being stuck in a dream state, and each new level being a further development of one's mind. As gimmicky as it may seem, the game keeps things fresh, always introducing new concepts and challenges, each challenge asking something completely different from you, or growing off the simple concepts introduced in the beginning, with the complexity of levels growing with each new stage, all while keeping a simple plot about overcoming one's struggles. It also manages to have amazing pacing, hitting both comedic moments, actual risk and fear, relief, and eventual growth to overcome your own challenges, with as much love in its story, as mind-bending and smart the puzzles, challenges, and ideas the game puts forth are. It's far from world-shattering, but it's definitely one of the most memorable and unique games of the genre, and the most recent expedition being Viewfinder, standing somewhere between Portal and Superliminal, using cameras to take photos and allowing you to place said photos into existence and replace reality, mirroring the pop-in of Superliminal, but playing each standard puzzle closer to that of Portal, but failing to reach heights beyond either game. The plot is a sweet tale of two people seeking to find a machine lost that could bring life back to the ecosystem of modern-day Earth, moving through simulations to find answers, building its narrative through pockets of dialogue, through a cat companion, a phone to your partner, or old recordings from the past. And the ending is a tragic conclusion, most closely resembling that of the real answers when you seek similar things in the real world. But yet, the narrative feels so separate from the gameplay at hand. Portal manages to work using GLaDOS as a force to push you into completing the tests in the Aperture Science Labs, and Superliminal's gameplay mirrors that of the therapeutic final conclusion you receive, but with the story feeling like it relies on a past you can't entangle yourself with beyond a few recordings, with no driving push further compelling you to complete the game outside of a few phone calls from your partner. With a lack of personal interaction, it amounts to only me being so compelled to complete the game because of the amazing puzzles and great concept, which, to be clear, is great. These games all change so greatly in their concepts, yet all feel so similar in their ideas, each one using perspective to so simply change the standard of what it means to be a puzzle game, each changing the perception of what's possible, all for a simple solution, exponentially adding complexity while using my interaction to further a narrative well beyond the escapism of dropping blocks in place. These experiences are as smart as they are so broadly filled with characters and life, each taking such advantage of the limitations of being first person and giving me a personalized, mind-bending experience that compels it to be a greater experience than that of its parts, each so personalized that they could never stand on their own 2 feet as a movie, book, or any other contemporary medium, and find the beauty in offering one a divergent perspective. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, we're trying to get to 10k subs by the end of the year. So, do me a solid, help me out. Hit the subscribe button down below, like it, or share it somewhere. That way, we can get closer to our goal. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.